Hey everybody, what's happening? Welcome to Mock Draft Monday. I am Adam Rank, and thank you to everybody who joined the show already. The comments immediately are like, when does this show start? It's 5 o'clock right now. Like, this is when we're starting the show. And if you are not familiar with Mock Draft Monday, what you will see is that I am going to present to you a mock draft. This is going to be a typical mock draft, half point PPR. I was drafting from the 105 spot, somewhere around there. I wasn't one of the top three. I can tell by the pick that I made that I wasn't one of the top three. But typically what I do is I come in here and I explain myself, usually to a vacuum. There'll be a couple of kids in the comment section being like, you're an idiot. But I can't always address those people. So I'm going to bring somebody on this afternoon who is going to be able to tell me how big of an idiot I am right to my face. I will be able to see her, and she will tell me how wrong I am. We will get to her in just a moment, but what do I want to do right now? Let's get to the mock draft, and I'm going to run through that real quick. This is one that you could have found on my Instagram page at Adam Rank NFL on Instagram. Once again, this is about the 105 half-point PPR, because I feel like if you're a full-point PPR, you're insane. What's up, Jeremy? Thank you for joining the show. Here's my team. Derrick Henry, George Kittle, you know me. I'd love to go tight ends right off the top if I can. Otherwise, I'm going to be fading them till the very end of the draft. I went back in on Clyde Edwards-Helaire this season. A couple of wide receivers I'm taking stabs on. DJ Moore, Cooper Kupp. I love Javonte Williams this season. He's going to overtake Melvin Gordon in my estimation. Will Fuller. All right, I already know where I can already see where I went wrong. Will Fuller, Damian Harris. Those are two mulligans I would like to take. Marquise Hollywood Brown, Darnell Mooney, Joe Burrow, very, very bullish on. Denzel Mims, as I sit here today, I'm like, when did I do this mock draft? Why was I so excited about this? Joe Burrow, as I mentioned, Denzel Mims, Ryan Tannehill, Younghoe Koo, because I got to. And then I took a second tight end because I'm not an idiot. You got to do that 17-game schedule this season. So right now, that's the mock draft. We'll refer to that in just a second. But right now, I would like to introduce to you a very special guest. If you've been following fantasy football over the last year, especially over the last couple of months, my guest has become one of the fastest risers in the industry. I don't want to give her this title. Like last year when everybody went crazy for Clyde Edwards-Helaire and we were drafting him in the first round, it didn't work out. But I think that all the platitudes that have been labeled to this young lady is well worth it. Obviously, if you follow Matthew Berry, Brad Evans, some of the biggest names of the industry, they have been lauding this young lady who's going to be joining the show right now. You know her from FTN Fantasy, from FTN Bets, FTN Network. She is all over the place right now. If you are not following her, then you can unfollow me because I feel so strongly about it. And please welcome to the show, Stephanie Smalls.
Hey!
And by the way, and for everybody who's out there who's like, I thought it was Steffi Smalls. No. I go full name. It's like the bad guy in The Last Boy Scout who always referred to Bruce Willis by his full name instead of calling him by his nickname. I feel as the fantasy heel, I should refer to you as Steffi. How are you, by the way? Thank you so much for coming on the show.
I am good. I'm exhausted because I had you on my show and I've been editing it nonstop because the two of us are too loud.
A little bit.
So it was taking a lot of time.
I turned the gain down a lot. So I wanted to make sure. And you know what? I forgot to record this for, actually, I can go ahead and do that right now. My own podcast. I always record this separately. I'm going to make Mitch pull this off the internet. Like, dude, Mitch, pull this off the internet. And he's always yelling at me because of the gain. Mm-hmm. He's like, turn down the gain. And I'm like, bro, I removed the gain button. Like, you don't worry about it. Like, it's just me. I'm just a loud person, and that's just the way it's going to go.
And I just also don't know what that means. Also, like, gain what? I don't know where that button is.
There's a button. There's a thing on the microphone right here. It says gain. And so it's turned all the way down.
I see.
So if you can ever find that. And so, of course, in addition to doing this show, Small Talk was we did Off Topic.
We did Off Topic. You're the first guest. It's going to come out like probably an hour after this show.
Which I love. I love that
I tricked you a little bit. You're like my promo, you know?
It's a simulcast. No, listen. Like, I'm not using you to get myself over. It's fine if it works in reverse. This is what the old guys do, is like find the young talent, latch yourself onto them. So you still, like, you know what? I still got to seem like a cool, like, I still want to seem cool because as you watch the Twitter feed fill up and you're like, these are all like young up and comers. And so now I always, you know, as a professional wrestling person, I always hated when like the veteran wrestlers were very protective of their spots. I'm like, what jerks? Like I want to see the Young Bucks, or I want to see Darby Allin. And now I kind of understand it. Like I'm Sting all of a sudden. I'm like, no, I'm here to protect. No, I want to hear from other people.
That's the longest way to explain it. I'm a boomer. It's basically what Adam just said.
I'm a boomer. 100%. Like it's not even an insult at this point. I can't even defend it. You're like, yeah, that's right. Like when Kyle, speaking of like Kyle Brandt, when he posts out stuff like he posted a photo of all these great albums that came out in 1991, like within like 40 days of each other. And it was like Smells Like Teen Spirit, Blood Sugar Sex Magik, Metallica Black. Like I remember these albums coming out. Like I bought tapes, Lose Your Illusion 1 and 2. Like, yeah, I remember I was alive for that. Like you kids were looking back in nostalgia. Like that was pretty cool.
Like I wasn't even a fetus at that point.
No,
like we were talking like
It's so disheartening. But what's not disheartening is the opportunity that you're getting. I know Matthew Berry recognized you on Friday. He said Brad Evans saw some nice things, said some nice things about you. And on Tuesday, depending on when you're listening to this, you're also going to be joining my friends over at CBS Sportsline.
I am.
So you're going, this is cool. Like, how has this experience been for you over the last, I know that you, what did you say? You dropped in on this back in October of last year, and now you've got close to 15,000 Twitter followers. You've got a huge following. Like, I think it's amazing.
I just don't know what's happening is the thing. It's kind of just like, is this real life? You know, that kid after the dentist where he's just in the car? That is basically my permanent state of mind.
Yes.
It's like,
Perfect.
Is this real life? Like, that's exactly how I feel. And it's starting to hit a little bit more. But I don't know what's going on, to be honest.
No, it's great. Well, I appreciate the insight, and I think what everybody is drawn to is your enthusiasm, your ability to not just necessarily go with the grain. You know, a lot of times in fantasy football, once everybody gets hyper on somebody, I mean, I referred to Clyde Edwards-Helaire last season, everybody just buys in. Blake Jarwin, another guy, like everybody, it's Blake Jarwin season. So that's the way it goes. So I think that everybody just appreciates your point of view and the enthusiasm in which you've expressed everything.
And a sweet way of saying that I'm a little loud. So it's either you don't have an option here. I'm gonna find you or you're gonna find me. I feel like on Twitter is how it goes.
That's the best way to look at it too. And it's like, and people, I don't know, when people, they try to be so delicate. Like I'm a loud person. I talk a lot. Like I get it. Like people don't have to like kind of like, but you know, like I understand who I am. It's like if somebody was telling me I'm bald, like they don't like some girl. Like I took my daughter to summer school today. She's learning Spanish, and this little girl, Alyssa, she's adorable. She goes, Adam. She's like, Mr. Adam, you're bald, and the parents are like, oh my gosh, how dare you? I'm like, yeah, I know that I'm bald. Like I get it. Like she's not insulting me. Like that's
I am basically living also in a state of being a 6-year-old, which I think maybe that kid is about 6 in that video too. So it's like, I am a 6-year-old. I tell you exactly every single thought and feeling that I have. So I relate to that child.
Well, that's why people appreciate that. They want the honesty. They don't want the stock answers. And that's why I brought you onto the Mock Draft Monday today. Because again, as you probably heard the introduction, like I just throw these out here, like it's the gospel. And that you should all adhere to what I'm saying. And when I sent this mock draft to you, you started laughing and you said, this mock draft sucks. And which I think was the exact quote. And you were excited to come in. And let's see, I'm not great with the StreamYard, but boom.
Oh, look at you. Wow.
We can pull it up like that. Now, this is a half-point PPR.
It's half point. Okay.
Half point, but still, it's not going to make that. I don't know. Let me ask you. Do you prefer half point or do you prefer the full point PPR?
I just can't believe we're still doing half point PPR. For what purpose does it? No, it's fine. Like we can do it. It's fun. Everyone has their everyone has their preferences.
Full point seems excessive though. Like half point.
It does.
There's a lot of completions right at the line of scrimmage. This kind of negates that. I feel
so we need a 3/4 point league is what I feel like.
Oh my God. I'm sure
how perfect.
Jake Seeley probably has one.
And if he doesn't, we'll make sure. Yeah. It's probably wrapped up like the rest of his things.
That sounds like it sounds like such a Jake Seeley thing. And I know we're getting too inside baseball right now to be mocking somebody else. But let's talk about this mock draft.
We should.
Do you want to just go with an overview? Do you want to start with the first pick? Do you want to tell me where I lost the season immediately? What were your first impressions when you saw this?
So I will tell you one thing. The value on the quarterbacks, I know this is like supposed to be a roast, but I will say the value on the quarterbacks here is beautiful, in my opinion. These, like, the rounds that you got, these quarterbacks, is it crazy? But this was when? When was this draft?
Yeah, this was a little before or a little after Julio. This must have been before Julio. I'm assuming, because I've had this one for a while and I wanted to circle back to it. The Tannehill thing kind of doesn't feel real anymore. Like, you're not, I think if you could flip Tannehill for Burrow, I think that's a realistic expectation.
Yeah.
And I think that there was a number of hipsters in this, a lot of late round QB guys, which is why, well, you know what? Like, a lot of people who are going to be,
It's true though.
industry people will wait on a quarterback. When you're doing your home league, it's going to be impossible, but you know, that's what happens.
So I'm like a zero QB person, but that's like a whole nother story. So I don't know, which way do you want to go? Should we go through the whole thing? Should we talk about how I don't like know if you forgot why receivers are important, or which part should we start at?
I got it. We can dive in. Let's just go. We can go around. Like, I don't know. I got nowhere to be. I've set aside the afternoon for you. So we can sit here and go through this. Listen, honestly, no, there's nothing else I'd rather be doing right now. So than you making fun of my profession. Because normally it's kids on the internet who I never get to see, and now I get to see you. And you have to do it to my face, which is different.
How cool. It's kind of fun.
Right? If I brought in one of those teenagers, like, they would look at me and they would cower and be like, okay, Adam, that was a good pick. Like, I'm sorry. It's kind of like the time, like, a lot of these kids who roast me on these things like clown, L, dead.
L. Yeah, what's with the L?
L for the L's. A lot of those kids also have their little, what do you say? Their profiles are closed. So you can't see any of their stuff. Except one time there was a kid who did. He had his profile open and he's like, you're a clown. Took an L here. Bald piece of blank. And so I went onto his site, and the first photo that was up was a photo of what I will only assume is his grandfather's grave. And I'm like, oh, look at you crying over your grandfather. Clown. Took an L here. What's up, crybaby? No, I did it.
Well, you did. Of course you did. But I don't know if you saw. I know this is why Adam and I can't do shows together, because we will never talk about what we're supposed to talk about. But I started coming up with new, like, insults because I don't want to get like suspended on Twitter anymore. It's like this new mature part of me so I came up with a couple, and I started calling people Muppet. And what's the other one that I've been using all day? Oh, baboon. Like, not buffoon, but like, you're a baboon. Like, people do not like that, but it's like, it gets in your head a little bit. Like, why did she just call me a Muppet?
A Muppet. You're a Muppet.
You're a Muppet. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, Muppet.
I'm gonna start doing that too. So let's talk about this mock draft. Now, Derrick Henry coming into this season, and this is, again, I'm sorry, I can't remember if I was pick 4 or 5. I know I wasn't top 3. Derrick Henry, do you like him this year? Yes or no?
Yes. So it's hard because here's the thing with this. So this is an interesting draft because it's like, oh, this is so cool. And then it gets kind of weird, and then cool again, and then really weird or something. I don't know. I'm in on Henry. I think that them adding Julio only preserves the longevity of him and AJ Brown and Julio. Everyone that, whatever this 300 touch crap is that everyone keeps talking about, it's Derrick Henry. I don't think that we're going to see regression here. So that I will give you that. That's a nice pick.
So that's okay. So we don't need to worry about that one too much. And if you've ever seen Derrick Henry in person, like, he's a different human being. Like, it's crazy because a lot of times at the NFL Network, you'll see players roaming the hallways, doing whatever. And the one time that Derrick Henry was in, I was like, oh, I wonder who that offensive lineman is. And then I walked past him and I'm like, oh, wait, it's Derrick Henry. Never mind. I'm like, how does he ever get tackled? Like, who could tackle him? I don't
know how you could watch his workout videos and be like, fade. No, definitely not. Are you watching what he's doing? He's not even a normal human being. He has like chains across his neck, like lifting it's too much. There's no way I'm fading this guy. It's just not going to happen.
It's way too insane. And even for somebody who doesn't catch the ball a lot, either in PPR or half point PPR, I still believe he's a first round value.
Absolutely.
Second round, I'm sitting there. Obviously, Travis Kelce is gone. I jumped in on George Kittle. Now, for me, in this spot, I want a pass catcher. And if Kelsey and Kittle are gone, then I will take one, whether it's AJ. Probably wouldn't have been AJ Brown because I wouldn't have stacked them like that. But Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, somebody like that. How do you feel about going after a tight end here at the number 2 spot or my second round?
So don't worry, everyone. I'm gonna start roasting him soon. But this is also everyone knows that I mean, not everyone. I don't even know if any of these people watching know who I am. But I am such a tight end. I would rather sleep at night and take a tight end. So I like the pick there. So the first 2 picks I will go with. Having a tight end that you know is gonna have production for you is fabulous. And then you just don't have to. There's no headache involved. Like you have to decide: am I starting Henry or Ingram or like? I don't want that. I want to literally draft a tight end and be done with it. But Kittle did break my heart last year. So there is obviously a little bit of risk him coming back. But again, it's Kittle. Let's be serious.
Let's not get too wrapped up into him being injured last season because
I know. Well, I was trying to roast you about something. I didn't know what to do. I panicked.
I already know there's plenty, and already the comments are starting to roll through as well. And so I don't know if this will throw you off here in round 3. I already feel I'm already defensive about this pick. So as I say, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I always have to be like, but hear me out. Here's what I'm saying about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Very effective last season and was very effective catching the ball out of the backfield until they brought in Le'Veon Bell for whatever reason. I still don't know. It didn't really make a lot of, maybe they were a little worried about a rookie who didn't have a full training camp, making it an entire season, wanted to extend him out a little bit. I think now they're a lot more confident. I think Andy Reid always has great running backs who are good for fantasy. Again, going back to what you were saying about George Kittle, burned last year. Well, I mean, you were burned because you drafted him in the first round. You know what I'm saying? Like if you spent $500 on a pair of joggers at Old Navy, then yes, you're going to be upset about that. If I paid
joggers at Old Navy,
but if I paid,
crack me up.
But they make nice joggers.
They make
shorts
I can't. I love it.
I'm just saying. But if I spent $5 on the same joggers, I had a different experience. Like it was a lot more, palatable.
So quick question though, if it was now, is there any way that you would have taken Waller over Kittle?
You know what? I prefer George Kittle.
I do too.
I just do. I thought that Waller, as good as he was last season, there was a stretch with some inconsistencies where if you're looking at the week to week, like Kelsey's unbelievable. Like he's good every week. Like, okay, cool. I've got 20 points, especially in full point PPR. You're like, okay, I'm set. I don't even have to think of it. Cause I remember last year in a lot of teams that I had, I would look at my team. I'm like, God, my team sucks. And the way the NFL app is tight ends way down at the bottom. And you're like, oh yeah, that's right. I have Kelsey. Like I'm fine. Waller was still too volatile until the final couple of weeks of the season where he was very consistent. And I won't take that away from him. But still, I think that Kittle, to me, has the opportunity of being more consistent over the course of the season. Even if Brandon Ayuk breaks out this year, I still think that Kittle's going to be valuable enough to where he's going to give you the consistent points week in and week out.
I love consistency, and that's all I want. I just don't want it. I don't want the inconsistency. So I will agree with you on that. So that's fine. But we'll see. It gets a little hairy after this.
Yeah. What about Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
So great. I love that for you. And I also am like
I'm
totally
very happy for you.
Like I'm very happy. I think that it's very ambitious and awesome. If you didn't pick the other running backs that you had. So I'm all in on you believing in him, but then you kind of threw me for a loop there when you got Williams and who else was there? Harris? Like that's where you went, dude? Why?
Well, okay. Damian Harris is a mistake.
I like
that. That's a mistake. I made a mistake. And you know what? I honestly, I could have, gone back after. I mean, nobody was watching this. I could have easily lied and been like, that's no, I got, I got anybody else there. I got Curtis Samuel there or something crazy.
I would love to know who was still there.
I know. It was a terrible, it was a panic pick. Like I was, this is 12 teams. Like I think people also, because you're so used to drafting with some of your friends who might not be as nuanced, that it's easier to to slide by and get players that you don't think people are in on or something like that. Mm-hmm. Damian Harris is a terrible pick. And I'm not going to try to defend that. I would I would even contend to you, and I've been saying this now for about 6 days. JJ Taylor is the guy that I want.
I was just about to say it. At the amount of times I'm going through the podcast that you were just on with me, JJ Taylor, that's all. I think we talked about him for quite some time.
I talked about him at great length. Yeah. For the risk you're going to be taking at the price that you're eventually going to be paying. Again, this goes back to the point of, you know what, you're picking up some shorts off the rack at Old Navy. You don't know what they're going to be. Now, this pair of camouflage shorts that I have on right now, amazing. Like, I can't believe I got these for $12. These are finer shorts than some of the stuff that I've bought at the rack or at Full On Nordstrom. By the way, Full On Nordstrom's having their deals right now. And
shout out Nordstrom.
Shout out Nordstrom. You want to go. But don't buy their house brand stuff, because I found out from somebody who worked at Nordstrom, their house brand, like whatever it is, I forget what it is now, is the same as the Stafford brand at JCPenney's. And I'm like, what?
Okay, that seems offensive. Yeah,
I'm
a little rude. I feel offended by that. You know, I love that Aaron Rodgers. Which, do you know you kind of look like Aaron Rodgers? I feel like we haven't talked about this.
Don't.
I'm sorry. I just need you to know.
James Coe said I act like him. James Coe is like, you and Aaron Rodgers are like a very similar person, especially because he was watching the match. He's like, that's how you behave on a golf course too. Like pouting when you're not playing well, talking shit when you are playing well.
You just like actually have a personality. Like I understand the comparison, but like Aaron Rodgers is like one of the driest humans ever. I actually think it's very refreshing that we're seeing him smile for once in his life.
It is nice. I did talk to him in person one time, and then went after him. What? As it was at a Gatorade event. Casual. And we started recording, and I said, hey, I don't like you. And he's like looking at the camera like, you started the camera, this is recording. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And it had an opportunity to go really south. And then I brought up his friend Nick Swardson, who's a comedian who actually has a very famous bit about how much he doesn't like Aaron Rodgers as a Vikings fan. So I said, listen, I'm a huge fan of Nick Swardson. And now you guys are best friends and hanging out all the time. And I don't want that to happen between us. And I think he goes like, don't worry about it, which was amazing. Like, what a great roast. And then he went out and, you know, he was great. He played along. He played ball like he should. And so I know. And that's the kind of stuff that makes me hate him even more. Is like, he was cool to me, but I have to hate it. It's like watching John Cena, who returned to the WWE and Money in the Bank. Like, I think John Cena is probably a really nice person, and he's a good worker, but I hate his character. It's like watching a movie. You're like, I hate that character. It's
funny because, you know, kind of like episode 9 sort of thing, right? Like, I never thought I would talk about John Cena as much as I have the past couple days at this point. It's awesome. I love it. And here we are not talking about the draft. This is why Adam and I can't mention.
This is what happens when you're in my life. Now, you're roasting. Okay, let me talk about Javonte Williams, where I got him in the 6th round. This is a league where you're starting 2 running backs. Okay. I don't think that I'm not drafting a player, maybe other people are, in round 6, who I'm expecting to start immediately.
You're making it hard to roast you, dude. Like,
I got Derrick Henry and I got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Those are my starting running backs. Javonte Williams is going to start the season behind Melvin Gordon. Nobody disputes that. Melvin Gordon, though, will eventually give way. Like, something's going to happen. He's going to get hurt. Their season's going to turn. He's going to get traded. Like, something's going to happen. And Javonte Williams, by the time that we get to weeks 10, 11, and 12, is going to be the starting running back for the Denver Broncos. And so that's where I'm looking at this spot. I know, and I see a lot of the comments. See, Brandon is like, this is the greatest part about fantasy. It's like, Brandon is like, this is a steal. And Berlissimo is like, you're an idiot, Rank. I can't believe you did it. I don't know, Berlissimo. I don't know if you said that.
Yeah. I said it. No.
Damian Harris actually, or Berlissimo actually likes Damian Harris, which I think is
I like Damian Harris. I didn't want to say anything on my show, but I do like Harris. I think that's Harris's backfield is all. And that's fine. But also, what happens if one of these guys gets hurt? You're relying a lot of it makes me uncomfortable. You know, the like chuckles, I'm in danger. That's this mock draft. Like that is this mock draft. Like, because if anything slightly goes wrong, and just wait till we get to your wide receivers, like I am just so nervous about it. At least you have a solid core, but come on.
I love the laugh too, by the way. You just got to throw in the laugh. Like that's the mocking.
So
that's
funny.
the mocking part.
Oh,
I know.
God. It's okay.
But this is how I live my life. Like this is like you know, and I also believe that if you go tight end this early in a draft,
you got to be ready to take risks. You have to. That's what it's a commitment, and that it's an addictive personality type of thing. People that take tight ends early have addictive personalities.
Gotta be, right?
There has to be some kind of correlation because, and I agree with you. At least, you know, I'm not going to take. You know, you go to round 6. Would I rather have Chase Edmonds, or am I going to just take a risk and take the guy that might have a very high ceiling? I'd rather just go ahead and do that than anything else.
Would you have gone with James Conner right there? Or is that still
I would have been interested. James Conner, I think, is going to have a good year. So James Conner and Evan Ingram remind me of each other in the sense where they just need less pressure and less targets, and they'll stay healthy and they'll be more productive. So they don't need a lot to be productive. They're like nervous Nancy's. Like they don't stop making them a 1 when they're not a 1. So I do like James Conner this year a lot. I wish everyone would stop trying to make Edmonds a thing. He's not a thing, but I may have still gone Williams. I'm like you in that. I do. I don't know. I'm supposed to be roasting you, but I agree.
You can roast, like you don't force it. Like this is the one thing about you is like I'm not bringing you on here to
don't worry,
manufacture some controversy. I don't need that at all.
I mean,
I just want an honest opinion on what this is. Listen, you're speaking for the people. And, you know, a lot of people.
The people say hell no to Connors.
Yeah, Berlissimo, definitely not in on James Conner.
Okay, I'm in on him. Give me a break, okay? I can't, you can't. Some guys you can't let go. Yeah, I'm not ready. A.J. Howard, I'm not ready. Like, I'm just not ready to let it go. I need a little bit more.
Yeah, once you get locked into a player, I feel like it's very difficult to eject. And I'm trying to turn a corner here because last season, I had a lot of difficulty with DJ Moore. And we were talking earlier, like how we enjoy consistency. We want our players to put up consistent production. Mm-hmm. I didn't get that last year from DJ Moore. And yet here I am in the 4th round, like, yeah, I'll make you my wide receiver 1.
I'm all in.
What do you think? Like, is that a terrible risk, or should I have looked someplace else?
If I could define The Office, you may know it, is yes. If I could embody that pick, it's just Michael Scott saying, I'm ready to get hurt again. I just think you're asking for trouble there. And again, it's just so risky with the other wide receivers. You're scaring me.
It is a little bit risky.
Scared.
Okay, I'm going to pull up. If we were going over ADP and looking at some of the receivers who will be available in the 4th round.
Oh, God.
We could be looking at, let's say, CeeDee Lamb, Julio. Like, I couldn't go Julio because I've got Derrick Henry. CeeDee Lamb, Julio, Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin. Yeah. Am I really reaching at this point with DJ Moore?
I don't know that you're reaching. It's just that you're a believer. So that happens. I've seen this happen with DJ Moore. I'm not a DJ Moore person. I am not going to ever be a DJ Moore person. I think the Panthers also, with all the talent that's over there, there's too much depth for me to get too excited. I'm just not in. I wouldn't take him probably until the 5th. You could probably convince me right there. I think you could have maybe gotten someone a little bit safer. That makes me uncomfortable. I'm nervous.
I will tell you now. Okay, Sam Darnold is his quarterback. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, I will point out that over the last couple of weeks, I've started to really become bullish on CeeDee Lamb. Might have gone in that direction. Allen Robinson was a player that I was targeting in that range, but of course he was off the board. A little too rich. Like
look, I took like notes and like a few notes. I didn't really do much, but I felt bad when I was like I was like, oh, we're supposed to prepare.
Don't you dare! I was teasing you.
So
I walk into these things without notes all the time. Like what do you just know it. Like I think you're like similar to me, where like we just know the material.
Whatever,
like when you're sitting there, you walk in. Listen, when you walk into a classroom and there's an exam going on. And you see the people who are doing their last minute cramming, trying to. I'm not that person. I either know the material or I don't.
That's it. And that's it. You're either screwed or you're not screwed. So with DJ Moore, here's the thing. I'll wrap it back here. Look at me trying to stay on topic. You look at Teddy Bridgewater, who the skill players were fine with him. I think that is Sam Darnold's like floor. So there's definitely a potential here for DJ Moore to do exponentially better, because I do think Darnold, the dude was seeing ghosts. He had Adam Gase as a coach. I pour one out for Sam Darnold. I'm very excited for him. I think that there will be more success there, but at the same time, we don't really know how the system is going to fit together, and the rest of your wide receivers. Then we'll talk about that. And he finished. It? See, these are my notes. This is what I wanted to tell you. See,
the rest. The rest.
DJ Moore finished wide receiver 23. So even if Sam Darnold doesn't do much better, like if he does a little bit better, I mean, we're not talking about a lot. This isn't a guy that you want as your wide receiver one. I know. It's actually getting worse as I talk about it.
He's my number 2 pass catcher, if that makes you feel any better.
Yeah, we love that for you, kind of. God.
He's my number 2 pass catcher. I could have gone wide receiver. I could have gone, let's say, Devontae Adams or Stephon Diggs.
So nice.
Would your life feel better?
So great. Yeah.
I mean, I'm starting, like, as we talk about this more, and I know that I'll be a big talk about this. I'll talk about this more. As we talk about, I'm now starting to talk myself out of taking Travis Kelce or George Kittle at the top of the draft, unless you
That's what I do every time. Whenever it's a draft, and then I'm like, crap, I get to the 6th round, I'm like, why did I take a tight end? You idiot.
Why did I do this? Yeah.
But you will be happy when the season comes. Like it's very stressful while you're doing it. And then you're like, I shouldn't take it. I could have gotten better value. But I feel like also when you don't have to worry about your tight end, it's so nice. It's so nice.
I do know that one of the drafts in the coming weeks has me fading tight end early. And I believe the 2 tight ends I'm going to be streaming would be battling through is like Evan Ingram and Gerald Everett. So I'm like, I don't know. Like maybe I'm not.
You hate Jonnu. I don't know why. I feel like we have to talk about this later.
Jonnu was
Did
gone.
Did he hurt your feelings?
No. Listen, I'm a big Jonnu. Listen, there's nobody who defends Jonnu Smith more than me.
No, me.
Okay. Outside of you. Nobody else. Because like everybody acts like last year didn't happen. And now he's going to a team that's going to run basically the same system.
Yeah.
Like Cam Newton is going to throw to his tight end anytime they get near the goal. What do you think? He's going to throw it to N'Keal Harry?
And there's certain players and teams that we just decide, and we even talked about this actually on my show, is like we just all decide that that's not going to be the case. Like he finished like tight end 14, but we're mad that he's going to a better situation. Like what? Are you guys crazy? Like Billy B literally loves 12 personnel. So everyone needs to chill.
I know. I'm with it, and I think that Hunter Henry's the guy who plays more in line and is more their blocking guy.
Yes.
Jonnu Smith is more their dynamic. I'm going to catch 8 to 10 touchdowns this season, and it's going to be magical. And so anybody who wants, magical. So I got that was that's part of the problem though, is that is my strategy. If I miss out on one of these guys early on, then I'll just wait for Jonnu. And collectively, fantasy enthusiasts hate Jonnu Smith. But
crazy people.
Whenever I'm in a draft, there's just one other person who loves him and takes him stupidly early because somebody just reached for Dallas Goedert. So then somebody's got to be like, the next pick's got to be Jonnu Smith. Like, why? Oh, my gosh. And
I'm sick of being in leagues with people that follow me on Twitter, too, because now you know who my guys are. And I feel like it's changing the value of them. And like I got sniped for Jonnu, he would never go in the round that he went. And it's like, I know you're literally looking at my Twitter. Like, leave me alone. That's my 8th round pick, okay? Not your 6th. Like, chill out.
Yeah, it is. You've known that you've made it in this industry when you start getting sniped on players like Jonnu Smith. Like that's when you really know, like, okay, I'm starting to make an impact in this world. You know, you could have gone and been a doctor, fine. But the one thing that you're really,
dad.
Yeah, he's fine. You're saving money this way. You're good, Dad.
Exactly.
Don't worry about
it's all good. It's all good.
But you're also, and you know what? I feel like, and I tell this to all my doctor friends all the time. I said we're very like our professions are very similar. Like we both, like as a fantasy enthusiast, I have to also take a Hippocratic oath of always helping somebody out. Now, if we're at a gathering, you know, and somebody is like struggling with their fantasy roster, if there is another fantasy enthusiast closer to that person than me, then I will let that person go. Like if Kyle Yates is closer to that person, I will let Kyle go over, or Kluge or whomever. Like, okay, you go handle that. But if I am the closest fantasy enthusiast, I will intercede and be like, no. Jonnu Smith is the player that you want to draft here. And I have a friend.
It's like passing the baton.
A little bit.
Like Olympic kind of. That's kind of like the brand right now.
Yeah, like, but you know, like if you're a doctor and you're out at a food truck and some kid is choking on a carne asada burrito, then like you're obligated to help.
Yeah,
that's the way I feel as a fantasy person.
Yes.
If I'm sitting there in the pickup line at school and, you know, two dads or two moms are talking about, like, anybody, just a couple of parents are sitting there talking about fantasy football, I got to jump in and be like, no, that guy was traded, or that guy was cut.
It's like when I was on the train and those frat boys.
Oh my God, yes.
Were, you know, talking, you know, they're talking, being like literally so obnoxious, and I'm trying to keep my composure. Then they're saying that black cherry is the worst flavor of White Claws, and I'm like, I'm gonna snap. And then they say that Rondell Moore was a horrible recruit, and then they said that they took Amari before who was it? Kyler Murray. And I'm like, okay, now I have to say something. I was like, what are the settings? I literally peeped my head over. I'm like, sorry, what kind of league is this? The guys were like, what? Shut up, crazy lady. Like, are you kidding? Why are you talking? I'm like, I'm just wondering, because nothing you're saying is making sense. And I'm having a hard time sitting here for another hour until we get to the city.
I really wish we could find the social media feeds of those kids just to find out what they were, whatever they were Snapchatting at that point. They're like, I'm just sitting here with my bros. Yeah. You know, we're going down to the city, and you know, we're gonna go hit up the Bubba Gump Shrimp, and
they're like, you don't get it. Like, Christian Kirk, it's gonna happen this year. Like, no, it's not. It's done. It's dead. That's it. It's not happening. Stop. Again, I have to actually make a Mean Girls, like one of those memes of Gretchen saying, or who is it? Regina saying, that's never gonna happen. Stop trying to make fetch happen. Stop trying to make Christian Kirk happen. It's done. Like, he's not happening. But when they said that Rondell Moore was just a practice squad body, I was like, that's it. And I'm like up in my chair. I'm trying so hard not to say anything, but come on.
You like pull the line, like, hey, yeah, we're stopping here. These guys need to get out.
Oh God, it's awful.
But let's talk about, as we're talking about wide receivers, if I was on a train talking about Cooper Kupp, and I'm like, you guys don't understand, Matthew Stafford is the quarterback this season. This is a huge upgrade. Cooper Kupp is going to have an amazing season. Do you stop the train? Do you just tweet out like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about? Or do you actually confront me to tell me how wrong I am?
So you just jump out the window. No, I'm kidding. So this is actually, I feel like this is solid value for Cooper Kupp. I'm not really I'm just not totally in on the Rams wide receivers. I don't know why. You know how we all have that team where we just like can't get behind something? I just can't get behind them. I don't know if that's because Goff did that to me. Yeah, but he kind of, he hurt my feelings. He can't throw the ball very well. So it was a little painful to watch him. I think Kupp finished wide receiver 26. So what do you have got him in the 5th round? I think I think right there, that's probably my favorite wide receiver pick of yours until way later on. I think that, and I make this comparison, I think that Stafford and Goff, this is how I think of them. Stafford is getting moved up a grade. And Goff is getting held back a grade. So I think that Goff might have an easier time transitioning in, because he already was used to, it's like I took honors Spanish and then I just never wanted to do it. So after they held me, I just barely read the textbook, but I was way ahead of everyone else. So I kind of think that Goff might have an easier time over there than Stafford will. And I know everyone loves him and I have him all over the place, but a Kupp is good there. That's fine. That one you can, I'll let you live off that one. That's okay. I'm happy for you. I think Kupp would be more, he will probably be more productive than Moore will.
I hope so. I know that it's weird with the values like that, but I really do think that Cooper Kupp, I would consider him the wide receiver one of that group. I just feel like, oh, you got to pay up. Like when you have to go somewhere and you got to pay, like, oh, we're going to see this band at this concert venue. It's going to cost a little bit more because the venue is smaller. And I
Right.
would normally pay $100 to go see, the Hold Steady, but because they're playing in a bar that holds just 300 people, it's worth it to me. And I feel like that's kind of the way that DJ Moore was. It's like, I got to pay for this, knowing
Exactly.
that I'm going to see Cooper Kupp on a stadium tour, and I'm going
Okay.
to pay $25 for lawn seats, and I'm going to have a great time.
I also think one thing that you and I do that is we might be the best at comparing. Like, you can give us any situation. It could be like eating a sandwich, and we will find a way to compare that to like the most absurd situation that has
100%.
nothing to do with it. I've never met anyone else that could do something like that. It's so funny.
Oh, it's the best. Yeah,
It's awesome.
it's our calling card. Like, this is
It
the
is.
thing. Like,
It's
we just
true.
come up with these random things, and I think that's a sign of intelligence.
I do too.
Really.
Like, I don't
like,
think it's written anywhere, but I think that
no.
it's an understood, like, universal thing.
Understood intelligence,
Mhm.
maybe semi underachievers too, but also just because like
Yes.
we're spending our brain power on things like that. Like, we're not
Yeah.
spending it for like useful applications
No,
or anything
no,
like
no.
that. Like,
Well, we can't waste that power. Is the
no,
thing.
no. It's like, listen, like, I have my own crosses to bear. Like, I was talking about like, like, thankfully nobody brings up anymore the fact that I didn't get into Stanford or stuff like that. Like, I can move. Although,
Right.
let's be honest, like, I went to Cal State Fullerton, so it's like sort of like going to Stanford. Like,
And then
they're close.
you know where you would have gone if you didn't get into a California school? You would have
What's
went to University of Arizona, where I went. And so
Yeah.
everyone that didn't get into a California school, you go to U of A. And then you have someone like me, I know, hopefully your daughter doesn't put you through this pain. Perfect SAT score. I only applied to 2 schools, neither needed. Like in the SATs.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's okay. You're on that path though with your daughter there.
Yeah,
And
I have the 2 kids. One's going to Stanford, one's going to U of A.
Mhm.
I always say that. And I'll say
Oh,
that
it's
people
gonna
are
be
like, "Oh, wait,
fun.
how old are your kids?" I'm like 6 and 3.
Mhm.
Like, I just already decided.
You
unless-
know, it's decided. Sometimes
just
some
know.
things are just known. I wasn't going to go to ASU. I don't want to really disappoint my dad. Let's just disappoint him. Like, not really disappoint him, just disappoint him in general,
I'm not going to smack talk the Sun Devils, so we'll stop it right there.
We could do that. And we could talk, and we're going to skip right over Williams. I'm taking control of your show now. And I actually want you to explain.
We talked about Williams. I
know.
think Will Fuller,
Skip.
though, super
Yeah.
dumb pick right there.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. So I would love an explanation for why.
Panic pick.
You panicked. It was a PP.
I
Quick
was-
PP.
Yeah, I was. You know what? You make mistakes. Like,
You do.
it's like one of your friends comes up to you and is like, "Hey, do you want to do Fireball?" You're like, "Yeah, okay." And as they're walking to the bar, you're like, "What did I just agree to?" Like, there's nothing about that is going to work out well. Like, it's never
Right.
like Will Fuller is Fireball. Like, it never works out as well as you think it's going to be. Like, it's amazing. It seems like a great idea. Like, yeah, who wouldn't want to do this? It sounds lovely. And then as you're in, before you even get the shot, you already regret it. The season hasn't even started. I regret already drafting Will Fuller, especially with,
Right.
and I'm just going to look at ADP, this 7th round. Oh, this is you got to just take in
bad.
Devonta Smith.
But in your defense, was this before or after the draft?
There's no defense for me. Like, that's
Okay, I know. I'm trying. I'm going to definitely, like, you're going to hear some words in a second, but like that might be my least favorite pick on this.
All right.
Actually, no, it gets worse because there's also Hollywood's on here, right? I lied.
Why don't you like Hollywood Brown?
Are we there yet? We need to get through Fuller.
Okay, Fuller. Roast Fuller.
No, it's not even. But then you bring on Waddle and also Tua. I'm like, you need to do something. Why are we bringing? Everyone's all excited. The deep ball threat. Okay, great. That's so awesome, and I love that. But can Tua get the deep ball to him? Is my issue. Like, is that going to be something where the Dolphins can find a way to get him involved? And then you bring on Waddle, and I'm just not. I don't know how fantasy relevant he's going to be.
Probably not very. Yes, this was a mistake. I don't know. It's name brand. I'm gonna
name.
go back to the. I'm gonna go back to the
Back to the juice.
back to the Fireball. Like, it just seemed like just immediate, instant regret. Like,
because he's a great talent. Like, this is nothing about Fuller. It's just the system that he's stepping into after like not playing because he was suspended or had detention or whatever happened with him. And then you bring on Waddle, and I just don't love his journey.
Yeah. It is, yeah. I guess I could be like, oh no, this is a best ball league. Totally. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. So Fuller, that's a terrible pick. You
It's
like
okay.
Damian Harris. We talked about him a little bit ago.
Mm-hmm. I
What
do.
about Marquise Hollywood Brown? This is a pick that you do not like.
There is nothing Hollywood about him, and I feel like he needs to like. I want to call 911 and be like, you need to take this nickname away because I feel like it's so inappropriate for the player that he is. Like
Right.
he finished wide receiver 36. So like, what are we doing here? What are we actually doing here?
Yeah. If you have too cool of a nickname for somebody who's not cool, that is understandable.
Do you know it's because he's from Hollywood, Florida? Like what? That makes it even worse. Like that's like not making it better. Because someone like got mad one time because I think this season I tweeted there's nothing Hollywood like about Hollywood Brown.
Right.
So I only call him Marquise because I feel like that's what he should be called.
It's like
and
driving a Grand Marquis.
yeah, it's like thinking it's like getting like a the kid in high school, they get like a Honda Civic. Like that year, it's like a lease, but like you think that you're driving something way cooler than you're driving. Like it's not as cool as you think. Like, so that's how I feel about him. And also they brought out Rashad Bateman. They don't believe in this dude. And Lamar has his, I don't want to say issues, but people have concerns about the way they can get the ball downfield. So I'm not loving this. Rashad Bateman might end up eating up everything else. And then what?
Yeah. Then what? What do you got?
Then what? Then you're screwed because you have DJ Moore, Cooper Kupp, and Will Fuller.
Well, Hollywood Brown is the big budget picture that makes a lot of money but sucks. And then Rashad Bateman is the independent film that you actually cared about.
Exactly.
It's the office space of the wide receiver room. And you know what? Hollywood Brown is Ghost Rider. You're like,
I feel like
it's
always like, you're doing great, sweetie. Like that's all I hear. When I hear you're doing great, sweetie, like just keep trying. You're doing great.
When you're from Hollywood or Hollywood, Florida, you cannot be proud of that. It's like out here in Southern California, there's a town called Paris, Perris. And they go around, they're very happy to tell people like, oh, I'm originally from Paris. Like, what? Like, oh, Paris, California. You're like, okay, we need to stop. You need to stop with that. It is not the same thing. We're going to Paris. What? Actually, that was a joke in a college production that I made. Like a radio.
Is there anything you don't do? Like, should we talk about is there one thing that you maybe don't do? Can you cook?
Oh, I can cook.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's what I'll find something.
Barbecue. I don't. Oh, you know what? I don't. But I'm not like a handy person with like cars. Or if your sink breaks, like, why are you calling me? Like the neighbors will be like, hey, our sink broke. Can you come over? And I'm like, if you need me to tie a tie, I'm your guy. If you need me to come coordinate an outfit for your daughter,
right,
I'm your man.
You got
Fixing your sink, anything like your garbage disposal's busted, like you're just gonna have to find somebody else.
You're gonna have to. That's gonna be a PP there, personal problem. Go elsewhere.
Roto-Rooter. Yeah, here's the phone for Jack Steffen, who.
So this next pick, I'll just go right into it. Do you think it's possible for you to draft without making a homer pick?
Nope. Not even a little bit.
So we should talk about this. Like this is something. So Darnell Mooney is someone that I feel like all Bears. We need to have like an intervention about this a little bit. You guys love Allen Robinson, correct?
We love him.
You love him so much, and you're so happy that he got a quarterback, right?
Could not be happier.
Mm-hmm. So why are you drafting? Why do you want Darnell Mooney to be as relevant as everyone thinks?
Because
just let Allen Robinson be happy.
We would love
you baboons.
We would love to. I know us and the other Muppets are simultaneously talking about Hollywood Brown. Sorry, Allen Robinson as well, and Darnell. I just know that the season's going to play out where Allen Robinson is, because he's leaving, unfortunately, not to our we want him to stay.
He's not leaving.
I hope not, but he did not sign a long-term deal with the ball club, with the express purpose of making Darnell Mooney their number one receiver next year, which is why he's probably going to end up getting funneled a lot of targets, to the point where
Really?
I let somebody else draft Allen Robinson and be like, oh no, I got sniped. And then I take Darnell Mooney because I just know. And I remember watching last year when Darnell Mooney was playing so well, that as joyful as it was to watch him and to find a fifth round pick who was amazing, you're like, oh, this is killed. Like we're going to see no reason to bring back Allen Robinson now.
You know what the most joyful part was for me? It was when Mooney finished wide receiver 49. Like that part was like, I think that's where I realized how great he is. Don't knock him. Don't knock him till you try him. I think that Allen Robinson deserves to just be the target guy over here. But if Robinson decides that he hates the organization as much as he literally already does, I think it's going to come down a lot to how long does Red Rocket start.
Right.
And I don't care because we have your first round pick. So like, if you guys do bad, I get down with that. Like, but I also am kind of like I'm like a closet Bears fan, you know? So it's a problem. I have an issue with that. And Jason Garrett, he's like 2 Ingram reverses away from me being a Bears fan.
Being a Chicago fan, yeah.
So that's on him. But at Mooney, I think that's good value though. I'll give you that.
That is one of it. Yeah. That's a Bears. It's like listening to a Chicago person debate about whether you can put ketchup on a hot dog or not. No ketchup on a hot dog, and we have to take Darnell Mooney in all our drafts.
Right, exactly. It's like I don't even know if I've ever left a draft without a Giant, so I can't knock you on that.
Right. I will also say he was not the guy who dropped the touchdown last year in the playoffs. That was Denzel, or that was not Denzel, but that was our Mims. Sorry, Javon Mims.
Mims.
And whatever. And then at the same time, my daughter yesterday at an Angels game, I bought a hot dog and she grabbed me a ketchup packet and I'm like, you get that out of my face. And she's like, no, try it. You got to try new things, which is something I always tell her. And I'm like,
she's so sassy. She threw it back. See how they pay attention? No, you have to try new things.
I said, we're not having this conversation. So I said, listen, you got 2 choices. Here are your choices. Put that ketchup packet back or I'm leaving you here at the stadium.
That's fair.
Listen. I know. I held that stare a little too long.
It's so you did a little too long. We'll work on that. But Mooney is good. I think Mooney is good there, especially. I think if Fields finally gets on the field, like if the Bears don't bear, just get the dude on the field, then I am on Mooney. I think he's a great flex option, to be honest.
I will take it. That's good enough.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay.
Quarterback values. Let's just assume that let's flip. But I think that I would have been able to get both because they were the 11th and 12th quarterbacks off the board. I obviously believe that Tannehill's risen too high through the ranks for that to be realistic now.
Interesting. There's no way you would have gotten him now, I think. I got sniped in Scott Fishbowl. I see Scott Fish in the chat. I really thought I was going to get him at because it was a 3rd round reversal. So 301. I really thought I was going to end up getting him. I took the chance because there was so much RB value waiting there for me. I'm like, I can't. I have to take Waller and I literally have to take Taylor. But my plan was originally to go quarterback, go against my ways and take a quarterback and stop being stubborn. But I was like, you know what? I think Tannehill will fall. He got taken from me 2 picks ahead. It was awful.
Yeah,
so it hurt my heart.
It does. It gets a little insulting. Like it hurts your feelings.
So you did that on purpose is how I feel.
I cannot help but take that stuff personally.
I do. I take it personally.
I will be playing golf and I'll hit a tree and I'll take it personally. Like that hurts.
Well, the thing is, life is personal. Everything you do is personal. Okay, guys?
Thank you.
Stop sniping.
Stop sniping all of our picks.
It's rude.
What do you think, though? So we like Tannehill. Do you like Joe Burrow this season? I look at a team that, even though Cincinnati did put a lot of resources into their defense this year, part of those resources were, Eli Apple or whatever. I think they're going to have to throw the ball. And I think they're going to have to throw the ball to be competitive, which means a lot of opportunity for Joe Burrow this season. And you brought in Jamar Chase, who, and we can debate that, whether it's him or T. Higgins. But I still believe that Joe Burrow is going to have to throw the ball an awful lot this year.
He is. And I think also we saw what Joe Burrow is able to do. Like the numbers that he was coming up on prior to getting injured was phenomenal. And everyone, we all like, oh, the O-line, they should have not taken the Jamar, blah, blah, blah. That's how I hear. When everyone says that, that's how I hear you in my head. And imagine how annoying that is for me. That's fine. But they did. Like, they took Riley Reef, and they also took someone else in the draft. They didn't not address the O-line. And then they went ahead and got Jamar Chase, who, again, is someone that they could have as a generational thing. And newsflash, he won't need as much time in the pocket with Jamar Chase. So I think that all the combinations there, I think Joe Burrow is in for a good season. But again, there's always a hesitant when you're coming back from an ACL injury. But quarterbacks usually do much better with those injuries. Like Tom Brady, he tore his ACL. That obviously has not slowed him down, maybe a little, but not at all. And then even like Teddy Bridgewater, I mean, you go off and name them. There's so many players that have ACL injuries. Joe Burrow will be fine injury-wise, but I think it'll take him a little bit to get going. Like I see by like week 4, we see Joe back a little bit.
It is funny because Jeremy in the chat was one of those people who just was talking about the offensive line. Like, they didn't do anything.
But they did.
That's my hater voices. They didn't do anything. They did nothing.
His whole leg's gonna be gone. No, his leg is gonna be literally fine because they got Riley Reef. They brought him. I can't think of the other guy.
They drafted a guy in the second round.
What's his name? I don't even know his name right now. Can't even think of it. I can't. What is it? Shit.
For the lineman that they took?
Yeah. Why can't I think of his name?
Yeah, they drafted a lineman in the second round. Last year they drafted a lineman really early as well.
I think they draft someone later on. I think they draft 2 linemen in this draft, actually. This is why you prepare everyone. So when you look at
this is why I know. I just had their depth.
This is why you prepare. I'm just not that. It's not me.
I think Reef is worth a first round pick, and he's somebody who was good on the NFL level. Like we know that he's going to be good. Penei Sewell did not play last year, and everybody's acting like he's an automatic going to come in and be an immediate starter.
You're about to. Do you not know about this yet?
What's up?
You don't know yet. He is not my OT1. That's it. Period. Slater is better than him, and he will have an easier time transitioning. And everyone can mark my words. I've been yelling it, screeching, hollering, throwing a tantrum. Sewell, any Pac-12 tackles have a hard time transitioning, and he did not play. So this is going to be I'm just not
like a perfect Lions pick
into it. He'll be fine. I'm not saying he's not going to be great in this league, but it's going to not go as well as everyone thought. And I think everyone will see Rashawn Slater. His film is just so much cleaner, than Sewell. I'm not in on Sewell. I can't. I'm sorry.
I thought that the Bengals did the right thing. I thought going for the wide receiver talent was the way to go. It's not like they were reaching for Rashad Bateman or anything like that. Like Jamar Chase legitimately is a great receiver. Like that's indisputable.
Right.
You put him in.
Those are facts.
Those are facts.
Factual.
Sewell, you're hoping and it's such a Lions thing. And I hope, and this is one of the things, I hope that the Lions will eventually look back and watch Justin Fields destroy them every year. I want Justin Fields to be so disrespected by the Lions that he goes for 504 touchdowns every time he plays them. Especially, I hope they play every Thanksgiving. I would sign a petition right now for the Bears to play the Lions every Thanksgiving.
I'll sign it. I'll sign it.
I'll
co-sign it. I don't care.
This is going to be the second time in 3 years.
It's going to be great.
They're doing. I love waking up in the morning. Our game gets out of the way immediately. It starts at 9:30 out here on the West Coast. I love it.
You guys don't do the parade thing. We talked about this.
Well, I don't know what that parade is, by the way. I know we've talked about that. Nobody wants to hear about the parade. But so we like those. We like the kicker, Younghoe Koo. I just love having him on there.
Yeah. But wait, we have to talk about Mims because I see James go in the chat here. And for a while, I thought I was going crazy. Like, I seriously thought I was an insane person. Why do I believe in Mims so much? At the end of last season, I'm taking him everywhere. Just really feel like he got the short end of the stick. I feel like they were very much misutilizing him.
Oh my God.
And So I'm actually sorry, I'm agreeing with this.
Please go. I'm so happy.
And James can say whatever he wants in the chat, and hopefully I won't mess up. But him and Matt came out with a video, and I just felt some reassurance. Like, you're not crazy. Mims is good. They misused him. He has the ability to be the alpha there. I think Mims is so great on contested catches. The routes that they were having him run were trash. It's the Jets, and he didn't get a fair chance. And I think everyone's all, Elijah Moore. Okay, cool. It's fine. But we don't really know what's going to happen over there. So I like Mims. I think especially there, like if there's a slim chance that he ends up being fantastic, like he definitely can. His talent is phenomenal and people forgot about him, but he absolutely could be. I mean, there's no reason he can't be the wide receiver one over there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love Denzel Mims.
Him.
I've also found myself, especially in best ball leagues, because this player I find myself drafting Zach Wilson just on the off chance that he's going to throw the ball a lot and be a good player this year.
Listen, I actually had to draft him in this startup dynasty league as my QB1.
I just did it.
Stressed.
I just stuck him as my QB2
in
a startup dynasty league.
Imagine he's your QB1 though.
But it's a super flex, so he basically is a starter.
But I troll him a lot.
Do you?
A lot. Yeah.
Oh, no.
He's a pretty princess. I'm trying to get his mom on my show.
Oh, no way.
It'd be cool, right?
That'd be awesome.
She read my messages. She started typing and then she stopped, Imagine me and her. You want to talk about two people louder than Adam and I? It's me and Miss Wilson.
Do we know that Miss Wilson's a loud talker?
Have you not seen her Instagram stories?
No. Am I missing out?
Oh, you are missing out. She's a trip. She's going to they're going to get eaten alive over there in New York. Zach Wilson offered to pay her to delete her social media.
Oh my gosh. I love her already.
She's so funny. She's wild. A wild person. It's very good for her, but it's not going to end well.
Could not have been in a perfect place, playing for the Jets in New York.
Right. Yeah. Very easy group there, right?
Oh, I love it. Denzel Mims. Yeah, I'm just seeing it. I want to see who's on board with us with the Denzel Mims.
I know.
I love it.
He made me feel better. I felt reassured when I saw that video because I was so upset. Like I made a mistake on Mims. I'm like, what am I watching that I'm missing? I swear the talent is here. He's on a crap team getting crap calls. Let's talk about Gase. There's nothing there that's working for him at all.
No. Gase, listen, I have my own issues with Gase. I'm surprised. I really thought he was going to be the Bears coach when they hired John Fox. Like I thought, because the Bears had never, until John Fox was hired, had never hired a retread coach. And John Fox was who they decided to break that cherry with. Like, okay, that makes sense. Like, yeah, you've held out this long. Why not break it for John Fox? Because that's what we need to do. But I thought it was going to be Adam Gase as the coach, and it would have been better. Like, might as well, because he would have been fired quicker. They might not have drafted Trubisky. Who knows what would have happened? But in any event, Adam Gase is just somebody like.
And at the end of the day, you know that your offensive coordinator is not Jason Garrett, so I feel like you can sleep a little bit more soundly. Like imagine being me and the pain that I have to go through. So it's fortunate.
There's Bears fans who act like Matt Nagy is Jason Garrett, and I think we talked about this during off topic about the people who are just like, we haven't had a losing season with this guy. With a quarterback who sucked. Like what? I don't know what you were expecting. I'm sorry that he didn't turn Mitch Trubisky into Patrick Mahomes.
So I feel like a torture method that people definitely use, like, I don't know where they do this. Like, I don't know if it's a war strat, is they make you go into a room and all they do is play Jason Garrett Ingram reverse and 3rd and 6 over and over and over again until you snap. Like, I think that's what happens. And that's why I'm fully prepared. If he calls more than 2 Ingram reverses week 1, I'm done. You're literally walking away. It's the same thing with White Claw. If they don't sponsor me by week 7, I'm done. I will walk away. But I've had enough out of Jason Garrett. So he needs to stop being so vanilla. Or I'm over that a little bit.
You got to find the advertising company that works with White Claw. I can look.
I feel like they should find me.
They should. I mean, they should. Like, I know, a lot of my sponsors, including Srixon, Travis Matthew, Michelob Ultra, some fine products there. They reached out to me, but at some point you got to go to them and be like, hey, like,
well, I wrote them a handwritten letter. What else do you want?
Okay, that's fair. But you gotta find the marketing department. Also, I forgot Knock Around Sunglasses. So I don't know if Stone's one of my partners anymore. I feel like they dropped me and didn't tell me. Which is like, okay,
yeah.
which is fine.
Which is fine. It's all right.
Once they want control of your Instagram handle, you're like, well, that's going to cost you an extra 4 figures.
Yeah,
that's not happening. That's not happening.
Now we have to talk.
Now we have to talk. I need to see some money exchanging hands. The product is not going to be enough. This is way too much. By the way, it's so funny. Obviously, I see a lot of my regulars, Berlissimo being the chief among them. But when Scott Fishbowl drops into this show, like, I feel this is a testament to you. These are users who are never coming back. Like, this is a one and done for me. I think everybody's here to see you.
Interesting.
Where else?
I feel like I don't think that that's the case.
That is
the case. I love that for me. And I think it's more like, oh my God, why would this idiot Adam Brink have this girl on his show? Is he crazy? And then they want to like see how it goes.
No, I think that they're all impressed, as we all have been over the last couple of months.
Yeah.
By the way, I know. Feeling. So let's go over one last look at this mock draft. So this team, you feel some mistakes were made, but not a complete disaster. Is that fair to say?
That's fair. Like the Young Ho, we love that. I'm very high on Troutman. I think that I think he's actually someone that's getting slept on. Oh, look at me saying slept on, as a potential breakout. Like, I think that this could be the season that we see Troutman break out. I hate that word, but I think that it's a possibility there. So I think that I'd rather have Troutman, honestly, than Irv Smith. He came out 100%. And made this whole statement how he's so excited that he's going to get more targets and more touchdowns because Rudolph is gone, except Rudolph literally had like 30 targets and 1 touchdown. Like, what are you excited for, bro? Like, you had you're not getting much over there.
Like, good one. Are you even paying attention to what your team is doing?
Rudolph was not even relevant ever. Like, he had 1 touchdown.
Bro, you couldn't even beat out Kyle Rudolph. Now what?
Yes. It's true. Right. Yeah, James is right. The fact that you somehow got Tandy in the 13th is criminal. But you have to know the date of this, because this would never happen now.
This
it's kind
is
of
all changed.
It's fake. You're kind of a hack putting this up. Like,
a little
trying
bit.
to...
I used an old one because it was the only one that I had completed that we can pull up right here and look at. I have a couple more in the chamber. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll start breaking out some more. I'll have some more guests come in, but I want to make sure that you're back on the show at some point during the season and maybe even beforehand. I don't know. I always feel bad about asking people. I don't know. People don't want to come in. People don't want to come and hang out with me.
Me? Are you? I feel like we've hung out with each other the past 2 weeks.
I know, yeah. We've been, we're like best friends at this point, and that's fine. But at some point,
I know how much you give your daughter when the tooth fairy comes. Like, that's some real, that's a connection there,
There is, and there's also a show too. It's the was it the 5 point? No, it's not 5 points. It's
2 point stance.
No, it's triple play. Triple play fantasy.
Yeah.
Triple Play Fantasy knows the name of my high school crush, and it's always funny that they bring it up they always.
Isn't it Stephanie? I thought you had an ex-girlfriend, Stephanie.
I did. Well, I did have an ex-girlfriend, Stephanie. My high school crush's name was Stephanie Smith, which a lot of people think is fake because if I say Stephanie Smith, they're like, I can't find her. Like, I'm not going to find somebody named Stephanie Smith.
Yeah.
But if
it's like Shy Smith. Everyone forgets about him. He was good. He's a good prospect. No. Everyone hates
prospect,
him.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Actual professional talent.
See how I run? Yeah.
I love it.
Try to stay on topic, but
there's no topics anymore. We've been an hour in on this mock draft, and right now, listen, this is the thing. Oh my gosh.
You're not winning championships with this also.
All right. This seems. Okay, listen, Scott Fish has been hanging out, so I appreciate it.
He's the best.
And Brand, okay, you guys are very sweet. Thank you for everybody's like, oh, come on. Like, that's right. I need to upgrade my StreamYard because then you can bring in 1,000 people or whatever.
Right?
Just have fans. It would be so cool.
I barely know how to turn my mic on.
Listen, this was you don't want to know how much work went into getting this off the ground today.
I'm so proud of you.
I appreciate you hanging out, and I appreciate you coming on. By the way, for anybody who, I know I did see one person who's like, Jeremy was like, yeah, like came for Smalls, but subscribed. There was another guy who said I came in but Smalls wanted me to stay, or Smalls made me stay, whatever.
Yeah.
But listen, do you have a YouTube channel? Where can people find more of your content?
I do not. I mean, I have a YouTube channel. Please don't subscribe to it. I don't even know what it is.
Why
but
not? Are you gonna get that up and running?
I don't know. Maybe yeah. I was talking to Lisa Ann about it, so if I might start working on getting my YouTube up and running. But most of the stuff I do is, I'm already on your timeline. This is the big dad joke that I have. And if not, you want to follow me directly, you can follow me at Steffi Smalls with 3 L's. 3 L's are Brady's. Very fun to add that in. You can find my first episode of my first solo podcast coming out tonight with Adam.
Oh my gosh.
Cool. How cool is that? It's a little long because we quite literally couldn't shut up.
This is
but
long.
It's funny. It's pretty funny. And I have more stuff. The season will be crazy. A lot of big announcements coming up soon.
Very cool. Well, I want to thank you once again for hanging out and going over this mock draft.
No, thank you.
Being kind. No. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate everybody who hung out and enjoyed the show, left comments. We do love you for it. And so if you can like and subscribe to this YouTube page, I would personally appreciate that. And as well, if you follow Stephanie on Twitter or any social media account, you will not be sorry. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back next week with another Roast My Mock Draft. Maybe it'll be more. Maybe it'll be worse. Maybe it'll be better.
Hopefully,
who knows?
Hopefully the roster will look a little better.
It's a super flex league, and all the kids on Instagram didn't understand what a super flex league was. They're like, "Why are you starting with 2 quarterbacks, you clown?" Okay, I hope in this super league quarterbacks are more valuable. You're like, yeah, that's exactly the point of super flex leagues.
Exactly.
So tune in for that. We'll be going after that one. But thank you, everybody. Until next time.
So
see you later. Bye.
See ya.